thank you for being here, everybody. Here we go again. Thank you for our supporters as well. You'll get to meet some of them later in the call. In this call, we will go through the why, the what, the who, the when, the how, and the what next. If that's too much information for you, we have got one link rather than all the links. If you follow just one link, we'll put it in the chat now. This is our Signal announcements only chat. So if you get overwhelmed with too many messages and you're in too many groups, if you just join that one chat and you keep your notifications on for that chat, you will just get maximum 1 or 2 notifications a day, tops. And that will be the crucial news from Media Revolution HQ. So please do follow that. But without further ado, we're going to get into the why are we here. So I'm afraid we've got some bad news coming, and most of you will be aware that we're facing some oncoming collapses. We've got systems collapse, societal collapse, environmental collapse coming at us from all angles at a breakneck speed. Rather than debate whether we should work on preventing, delaying, or preparing for, or being ready for after collapse, we're basically saying that media is important for all of those stages. So whether we're getting ready for, trying to divert or delay or prepare for, none of it is going to be well handled if we don't have access to good information. Every issue is affected by or started by the media. Genocide, killing of others. We've seen horrendous images in the news media recently, and we know that there's so much more going on that we don't yet see, and that is underreported or badly reported. The same with ecocide, the killing of the planet, the kind of oncoming amok collapse, and more that we see and don't see for the environment, for the climate. We see missing reports, missing scientific information, delay and denialism, and suicide. You know, mental health is a huge epidemic. We have a huge mental health epidemic, and we can connect some of that with the media themselves. In fact, there are so many problems, there is a sense of overwhelm. So we're running a campaign called 99 Problems to kind of try and capture as many of these issues as we can. You can take part in 99 Problems by recording a placard. This is a digital action that you can take part in at home. It's a double-sided placard. One side tells you what the mainstream media message is, and the other what the real news is. On our website, and there'll be a link in the chat now, you can take part in 99 Problems straight away, and you can see the 99 problems that we've already tried to cover. So we've picked out a handful of the topics that have been mishandled by the media, including economics, free speech, dissent, migrants, the amok, Palestine, and coming soon we've got animals, regulation, reparations, water, Congo, disability rights, and many, many more. On the right is a screenshot of all the people so far who've sent us a placard, sent us a video, and we've not yet featured them on our website, and we're working hard to get out all of these issues. So please feel free to join in with the 99 Problems campaign. You can see that on our website, and you can take part anytime. So, as I said, the core issue of all these issues is a media landscape that is fraught with disinformation, lies, inaccuracies, bad reporting. And the word that we have found that sums all this up is a word which may be familiar with some of you, but may be new to others, which is menticide. This is a word which was coined by a Dutch psychologist who was treating victims of 1940s Nazi war criminals of brainwashing. And this brainwashing is real today as it was then, and it's happening en masse, deliberately, intentionally, across all our media points that are using the information landscape to drive division and hatred and have us all scared of each other and rooted in hopelessness. So what are we going to do about it? Human Rights Article 19 says that access to information is a human right. The media's role should be to provide us information that we need to make informed decisions. That's part of our democracy, and it's important to our survival. So what exactly is the problem with the media, and what do we mean by the media? It's printed propaganda and it's social algorithms. And when we say media, we mean all touch points: online, newspapers, broadcast, state, radio, everything. Sometimes I think people think that when we start talking about press regulation, we're only talking about printed papers, and people think, oh, no one reads the news anymore. Well, don't worry, because the Daily Mail are busy paying influencers on TikTok to put out up to 100 videos. So when we talk about printed paper, we mean a media company, and we mean all of these companies, all of these touch points are part of the problem. To define that a little bit more, we've got two types of media which we've come to understand, and these are opposite types of media. The malignant media are basically billionaire owned. They put profit over truth and accuracy, and they silence dissent, they push hatred and division, they're not regulated well, etc., etc. And on the right-hand side, the antidote to malignant media, we believe, is something called movement media. That is a term that already exists, and there's already lots of people working on increased media literacy, regulation, grassroots media, better representation, inclusive and diverse voices, science-based, accurate, all the things that you would hope to have from your media. So if you've got this far, well done. We're through some of the theory. Keep going. It stays colourful and it gets more interactive. So if you would like to put in the chat if you think malignant media affects you in any way, feel free to tell us what you think and how you think the malignant media affects you and how a movement media might help you. So have a little think, and if you'd like to join in the chat, please do so. And also, if you've got any questions on what you've seen so far, please pop them in the chat and one of our team will pick them up and we will try and answer them, or we will bring them into the Q&A section at the end. So with all that said, there's stuff going on. Let's not despair. There's a lot of responses. We don't talk about solutions. We talk about responses, because solution is like panacea. It's like one thing's going to fix everything and everything will be all right. We're not in that zone. We're in response zone. There are 4 core responses which we have spent time mapping out, having a look at who's working on what. This graphic comes from when we started doing the work about a year ago, looking at particularly how does the media handle climate information. And so we looked at who in this space is doing work to regulate the media. That's one of the responses, and there's lots of people doing good work there, as you can see. There's also people who have said, no, we just need to replace the media. That's it, it's broken. We need to come up with different ways of doing it. And there's lots of great alternative news sources out there, independent media that's well regulated. And again, these are a handful of those who are doing the good work on the climate topic. Radicalize is a word that sometimes sounds quite scary, but actually what it means is grassroots. It means coming to the source. It means from the original. So when we talk about radicalize, we're talking about better representation of science and of accuracy and of diverse voices and so on. So that is radicalize. And the last one we'll all be fans of, I'm sure, is of resistance. And our theory is that we need to bring resistance to the media landscape. So there's a handful of people and groups and organizations who are listed here for having done work to resist the media narrative. And there are many, many others besides. This was just a handful. So our 4 core responses spend a lot of time in opposition to each other and deciding which one is best, which one's going to work fastest. What do I put my effort into? How do I get involved in this? There's a lot of wasted time debating what do we do. What we came up with was a theory, which is if they work together in this beautiful Venn diagram, you've got an overlap, you've got connection, you've got opportunities for each of these to work together and come up with new ways of challenging the media landscape. So that is where Media Revolution came from. We believe that in the coordinated effort of as many of these different responses as possible, you will find the opportunity for revolution. All around those responses is a linked up network of people and movements who are affected by the malignant media. Yes, that's a lot of M's. But you can look around you and you will see endless people who are being affected by the media misinformation. And this movement seeks to bring them together around this revolutionary moment. We have a 3-step plan. It is to unite the movements affected by malignant media, collaborate with the responses, and coordinate resistance. Who is this for? It is for everyone who's affected by malignant media, everyone who's already working on a better media, and everyone who would benefit from a movement media. So that's quite a lot of people. So it could be quite a big movement. You're here at the beginning. This is our largest open call, and we're so glad you made it. Please feel free to let us know what you're thinking in the chat, because this really is for everyone. Who's on board already? We've got a wonderful grid of supporters who are already excited by the work that's going on. Some of these logos you'll recognise, I'm sure. We've got the wonderful Hacked Off. We've got Climate Genocide Act Now. Shout out John Fuller. We've got News Cord. We've got Migration Films, Just Stop Oil, Surge, Exile Palestine, or not Exile Palestine. Everybody's in here, and there's more coming. We've got lots and lots of brilliant supporters, and the grid is only growing. When is this happening? So we've been on a countdown since the 28th of July, when we first launched, and we've had loads of activities. We've got a very busy events calendar. I think there'll be a link in the chat now. These are the remaining events leading up to Media Liberation Day on the 5th of November. So that's in 17 days' time, I think the countdown is now. In the meantime, we've got a News Club Live. We've got Global Media Information Literacy Week coming up. We've got a disinformation workshop. We've got a News Club workshop. I did tell you there was lots going on. Don't worry, you don't have to remember it all, because the links to the website will be there. But the big one to remember is Media Liberation Day. That's the 5th of November. Remember, 5th of November, Media Liberation Day. It's catchy. And on that day, we'll be up to lots, and I'm going to tell you all about what is happening. So the first thing, for those who love a bit of action, we've got this direct action that you can get straight away involved in. The templates are available. The link will be in the chat now. You can print off these cover stories, and you can put them on top of newspapers in newsagents and supermarkets to call out the malignant media. There's a range of different headings. You can just print them at home, go and pop them on top of the newspapers, and then crucially, take a picture. Upload that picture onto social media with the hashtag Media Liberation Day or Media Revolution or cover story. All the information will be on the website, and that will help us to draw the dots, connect the dots from the printed to the social, and it will help to disrupt their toxic headlines with some real headlines. We've also got news clubs. These are a fantastic way of coming together to meet up, to talk about the news, and to get media literacy skills, increase your media literacy skills. And at this point, I'm going to hand over to Casper, who's going to take us through a couple of slides about news clubs. Casper, are you there? Are you ready?
Yes.
Great. I'm going to stop sharing.
Now I just need to get my screen share right, I think. Like that. No, is that right?
We can see objective.
Right. That's good. That is right then. Fabulous. Okay. So I am very nearly there. That's the first slide. Introducing news clubs, which are very much like book clubs, but for news. I'm going to rattle through this quite quickly, so I'm not going to read out what's on the slides for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about them, but the objective for news clubs is for small groups of people to basically come together to find news articles and topics and discuss them with each other. There are a number of benefits. There's an obvious route to better mental health here for people, including myself. You know, the whole being an activist helps my mental health massively, and doing news clubs, I think, will probably offer the same for other people too. And there is an obvious improvement in media literacy. It's peer-to-peer improvement in media literacy as well. So they are better than being taught by a specialist or an expert how to set up a news club. Basically, we've been running one. There's myself, Tom, Philippa, and Eddie, who's not here today, have been running a news club for a little while. And we tend to find that we pick two articles, often about one topic, I should say, and we can rattle on for about an hour quite comfortably with that. But feel free to, these are just guidelines. You do whatever suits you best. So finding one article of about 3 topics, or 3 articles about one topic, whatever suits you best, basically. And it's really important to make sure that everybody has the circulation of the what you're going to discuss beforehand, and makes notes and brings them in, because that into the news club itself. So that's what really gets the conversation going. There are a few formats you might like to try. And like I said, these are guidelines. So you do what suits you best. And the other things that we found that spice them up is we have been picking an article from the right-wing media. So, for example, the Daily Mail, one from the centre, for example, the Guardian, and one from the left, like the Canary, and 3 articles around the same topic, or picking one from local media, one from national media, and one from international media. So picking one up from CNN about a topic, for example, or Al Jazeera, and throwing it in there to discuss. It's crucial that the club membership has a minimum of 3 people. It doesn't need to be that big either, because it needs to be a conversation. So 3 people minimum. I would say about 5 maximum. If your group grows to bigger than that and it's online, just pop people into breakout rooms and discuss different articles, and then come together at the end for a little debrief. They always work well. Nominating somebody as a chair to start with works well. That can shift, and other people can take hold of that role, but it's really important that happens. And how to communicate this amongst yourselves? We would suggest Signal. Telegram is also fine. If you must use WhatsApp, feel free to, but we're trying to persuade people to move away from, when we include media, we also include social media, and Meta, i.e. Facebook and WhatsApp, we would term them as malignant media. So we will try and encourage people to move away from WhatsApp and onto Signal or Telegram if possible. And the other option, of course, is to meet in real life in a pub or a library or a cafe, which is always a good idea. And our news club meets every 2 weeks for an hour. But half an hour a week is fine. An hour a week is fine. Again, these are just guidelines, and you find what works for you best. And like I said earlier on, if you've have a little read through of the articles and topics that you're going to be discussing, and have some prompts. What's the bias of the paper? Is it partisan? Is it right wing? Is it left wing? And what about the journalist? Is the journalists? Because sometimes you'll find right wing journalists writing in the Mirror, or left wing journalists writing in the Telegraph. The sources credible? Are the think tanks Tufton Street think tanks? Are they fossil fuel funded think tanks? Are the stats genuine? Are they cherry picked? Etc. Etc. These are all important things to take in there. And this is the final slide. So there are a couple of ways. If you're interested in starting a news club, we've got news clubs that are starting, a number of news clubs that are starting in the UK. In the chat, you'll see a couple of links. One is to join the news club network on Signal, which is a growing chat. It's not that busy. It will get busier. And the other link in there is an information form that's on from our website, a news club registration form. And in that you will see news club lives, which there's a next news club live on the 23rd, where you get to see and hear and join in at the end with me, Tom, Philippa, and Eddie discussing our next set of articles. And then there's a news club workshop on the 28th, which I will be delivering, which will be a slightly more in-depth version of these slides. Okay, thank you very much. Back to you, Liz.
Brilliant. Thanks, Caspar. That is all you need to know as an introduction for news clubs, but there is lots more on the website. Link is in the chat. And just a reminder that, although we're talking about, there's a couple of mentions of newspapers in there, news clubs can centre around what you're seeing on broadcast, on social media, digital. It doesn't have to be the printed press. So just a quick reminder. And also, we are based in the UK ourselves, and we're talking UK, but there's a lot of malignant media all around the world, and it doesn't matter where you're from, you can pick up on a news club and we can network with you and give you support and advice and get you underway with a news club. I think they're a really good way of getting together and spending time doing the good stuff. All right, I'm going to go back to my slideshow again. So we were here at news clubs. that's News Club Network side. We've got several other things happening. So we're back to Media Liberation Day, 5th of November. We've got a rebuttal group coming together. This is about coordinating responses and putting out responses to malignant media, disinformation, framing, that kind of stuff. We've got several people who've already been doing this for some time in the climate space, and we've got teams of people working together on broadening that message and broadening that work, so that we can work with other groups and movements and to start tackling the menticide and push back on that. We've got a brilliant partnership with a fantastic supporter called News Cord, and they are going to be helping us with tools that we can all use to improve our understanding of what's being covered and how it's being covered. So if you sometimes feel a little bit confused by why is this news this certain way, what's the framing, what's the real story underneath, there's some tools, some tech tools and some support to help you understand and break down what you're seeing in the news, and to do that, as I said, in news clubs or together in rebuttal groups to push back. So that's launching soon. Keep an eye out for that. That's launching on Media Liberation Day, 5th of November. Now, I saw someone just in the chat a minute ago and say, where do we get news from? Where can you get trusted sources from? Where do you get good independent news? Well, we've been hard at work with some awesome people at Newsmast. That is a charity in the UK. Newsmast are the first UK charity to get the charitable status for dealing with social media. So I'm going to bring up the website, which is MoMe, short for Movement Media. And I'm going to take you to a feed, which is, so this is a decentralized social network, right? So there's no ads, there's no algorithms, there's no billionaire owners. This is decentralized social network, and it's full of awesome users, 13.6 million. I think that's gone up actually since I put that on there. And here is where you can get your decentralized, your well-regulated media, independent media from Australia, UK, Kiev, you've got Greenpeace International, we've got campaign groups in here, you've got Open Democracy, all sorts of really good, well-regulated global voices, sources of media. Now, you don't have to sign up to this platform. You don't have to, it doesn't cost anything. There's no gatekeeping, there's no paywall. It's just free. Everybody can come in, and we're growing this channel. We're adding groups and movements to it all the time, so that there will be, as well as real news, well-regulated independent news, there will also be campaign groups who are working to make the world a better place, so that as well as seeing some of the difficult stuff that's out there, you will also see what to do about it. And it includes, like I say, good independent journalism as well. So I'm going to go back to my slideshow. So like I said, there's a lot to take in, and I know there's a lot of information in here. Don't worry if you haven't managed to catch it all. We're just really giving you an overview and a flavour of everything that we've been up to for the last year, getting ready for Media Liberation Day, so that there's all these great options for people to really start and bring about a media revolution. So we've also got a leaving party. So surprise, we have got a live DJ coming onto Zoom on November 5th to help celebrate anybody who's ready to leave their past social networks behind. So we're going to have some live music, and we're going to have some hand holding. If you're ready to, quit X and you're done with Instagram, or you're done with whatever platform, we're going to help you to get over to the decentralized social media, social networks with a party. So I hope you can join. We'll be sending out the information for that, sending out invites. You're all invited. This DJ who set up social distancing dance parties in lockdown and had over 1,000 people regularly turning up to dance together in lockdown to bring the joy and help us all through it. And I think the same, we need to have some fun in the revolution. We've also got, this is really big news, which is escalating all the way through. We're introducing the concept of a member-led, democratic, people-powered media consumer union. So we're working on this in the background. There's lots of research yet to do, but we're toying with this, launching on the around spring next year, but we're introducing it on Media Liberation Day. This is a coordinated way to approach boycotts, digital strikes, and really get coordinated. It will be something around the sort of one member, one vote, just like a union for trade. But the history of consumer unions is fascinating, and there is just not enough a union organising around media. In fact, there's more regulation involved in buying a sandwich than there is in buying or consuming any of the social media or media content that you get these days. We're nearly through, folks. Stick with us. We've also got some protest. We've got the Amok bomb. It's going to be in Parliament Square. Time to be confirmed. We've got a WhatsApp channel that we can share if you're up for turning up in person and get your first and last opportunity, first with Media Revolution, to be in person, and last before the politicians go into COP30 to tell them what you think about the fact that they're ignoring the Amok bomb that's coming our way, and to make sure that we try and get some media coverage and to point out that the media are failing on the climate. So we will keep you posted about all the details for that. As you can see, there's lots of ways to resist the malignant media, and they are sort of escalating from just sharing a few social posts and consuming indie media right the way through to organising a group cover story or an event or an action, and mobilising others to take action as well. So by now, you've had the kind of overview, you've hopefully found out some new stuff about Media Revolution, and if you'd like to get involved, we've got some simple ways for you to take part straight away. And the first of those is, I'm going to ask you a favour. We're going to take action right now. I'm going to ask you to take part in a photo shoot. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if you are not comfortable with being in a photo shoot, please do feel free to turn your camera off or disappear, hide, put a cushion in front of your face, anything like that. But if you're happy to be in the photo that helps us prove that there is a revolution starting, then please get ready to wear a big smile, wave, and I'm going to take a screenshot of all the revolutionaries who are ready to take part in Media Revolution. So if you're with me, and it's going to record. So in 3, 2, 1, give us your best waves and smiles and thumbs up and revolutionary hand pumping in the air. This is direct action right now. You're part of the Media Revolution. Yes, Pat, I see you punching the air. Siobhan, go. Nice. I see you, Daisy. Thank you so much. Yes, people, this is the start of the revolution. Yay. Okay, thank you. It's really, really hard to come up with photographs and designs and digital content for the Media Revolution, and your faces in that screenshot and you all waving is a really, really useful thing to have done. So you all took direct action right now, and I'm so grateful for your help. Thank you. We've got a few more slides to go, and then we will be into the Q&A section. So bear with me while I try to find how to share my screen one more time, and we'll be there. Okay, here we go. Oh, no, we're not there. Why are we not there? I've lost my slideshow, people. That waving, and I've waved it away.
Is being recorded.
Bear with me 2 seconds, and I'll be back. We're back up and running before too long. Oh, here we go. There we go. It was hiding. Right. Here we go. So we've done our photo shoot. There's literally just a handful of slides left, and then we're into Q&A. Hopefully we're on time. Thank you for taking part of the photo shoot. Now it's about getting stuck in with the Signal group. Again, the link has been posted in the chat a lot, but please do, if you haven't already, join the Signal group and share it with your friends. If you're in a local group or a community group, or you're in a little WhatsApp chat with your family and friends, and you think they would be interested, please copy paste the link now and send it to other people with a message saying you're part of a Media Revolution and you think that they should join. It's so important to get the word out there, folks. We really need your help. Also, register for emails, and if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, please stick around. We've also got a Signal group for that. We're really nearly there. We need your volunteer help for action planning, for outreach and onboarding, for fundraising, for admin, facilitating, so much more. And there is lots to do, and there's lots of people helping already. So it's a great community to join if you're interested in helping. Oh yeah, this is just a reminder for social media. One of the first things that you can do is some first aid for social media. We're brand new on the scene, so we've got barely any followers apart from on TikTok, which we sent a video fairly viral, and we got a really good response on that. So, but we need your help to forward the message to others, interact with it, request your friends to give first aid to, share it to your feed, repost, retweet, remix, and tag. That is first aid for social media. Some of you might remember that from a few years ago, and it worked really, really well on another campaign. I'm hoping we can get some help, some first aid from you now. Lastly, we have got a donation page. So if anybody is feeling flush or they know somebody who is, please point them towards our donation page. Every little helps go towards things like paying the upgrade on the Zoom link to make more people fit in the Zoom room tonight, which I just did. And I think that brings us to the end of the slideshow, folks. We're asking for you to disrupt the narrative of division, turn the tide on tyranny, and join the media revolution. Woo! We got through it, and it's just 4 minutes over the half-hour mark, so we've got loads of time for questions and answers. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking with that. I know there was a lot of information in there. There is tons more information to be had on the website, reading up about all the kind of problems with the media. We've done a dossier of harms. We've got all good, loads of research, loads of information for you to have a look at. But for right now, this is about taking action and coming together and starting to build this revolution from the ground up. And so thank you so much for everybody for being here. And thank you for your emoji, your love and support. That was really, really fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for coming to the call. I can see, folks, that we've nearly finished. Yeah, I think we've finished on the hands up on the screen. There was obviously so much to talk about tonight, but the key part that I really want to hope and get across to everybody is that this is a movement that's going to be shaped by the people that are involved. That's you. It really needs, this is ideas and this is some action, some theory and some planning, and we've decided, we're going to get towards this point, but it's going to be shaped by people in this room. So please, feel free to send us your ideas, send us your feedback, input as much as you have capacity for, and let us know where we need to steer this together. It's a collaborative movement and really need your input. And thank you again so much to everybody who's come tonight, who's put questions in the chat, who's raised a hand and spoken, and who's taken part in everything. Please do feel free to unmute and say your goodbyes, and we would love to see you again next time, and hopefully see you on Media Liberation Day. See you in the chats.
All right, then. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Anne, Chris.
Thank you.
Love to see you, Andy.
Bye. Great work as usual.
Thanks,
Love
Kathy.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye all. Thank you, Stephen, Sani, David, and everybody. Merle, thank you for joining. Alison, Tessa, really appreciate your attendance tonight.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Right
you.
then.